Listening to Public Sports Announcement with your host, Stephen Baltiera.
What's up, everybody? Welcome in here on a Wednesday afternoon. About 3 weeks left in school, so pretty excited about that. But today we're going to have a little different show. We're going to talk about a little bit of baseball. I haven't done it so much this semester, but we're going to spend an entire show on baseball. And today I'm joined by Jesse Friedman, who has his own podcast, The Rattle, that he has on, I believe, iTunes, SoundCloud, a lot of different things like that. Brings a lot of guys from the Arizona Diamondbacks. Everything you need to know Arizona Diamondbacks, Jesse Friedman usually has that. But let me go ahead and lead off with this. And that is that baseball is the sport dying for a new star. I think we all know and assume that Mike Trout is the best player in the game. But to the casual sports fan, the guy who doesn't watch baseball on a regular basis, he isn't so much must-watch TV. Baseball has initiated some new rules to kind of attract the casual sports fan, to speed up the game. A lot of different rules they've initiated this season, previous season. But in my opinion, baseball doesn't need a speed issue. It's not a speed issue with baseball. If you watch Game 5 of the World Series, it was a 5-hour-long game, but every minute was must-watch TV of that game. Baseball is lacking star power, and other sports have that. That's when you insert Shohei Ohtani, the Japanese player who's been an absolute phenom in the talk of baseball throughout the first 2 weeks of baseball. Ohtani is must-watch TV. There's only a few people in all of sports that get you to stop what you're doing to watch what they're doing. And Ohtani is that person. I mean, I'm not even an Angels fan, but when I watch baseball games, Ohtani is the guy that I look and I say, you know what? I'll wait till I go to the restroom in the next break because I want to see this at bat. He threw nearly 7 perfect innings in his first home start for the Angels. In 3 straight games, he had home runs. He's an absolute phenom. I haven't seen anything like him in baseball in my entire life. He's an outlier. To me, he is like Bo Jackson. And today I know I have Jesse Friedman on, who has his own podcast, like I just mentioned. He was at the game on Sunday and watched Ohtani's first start in Anaheim. And Jesse, what was your takeaway from what Ohtani's been able to do so far this season and what you saw on Sunday afternoon?
Stephen, first of all, it's good to be with you. I'm excited to be joining you today.
Of course.
It was incredible. It was unbelievable. I've never seen a guy have he has easy 100 miles an hour. It doesn't even look like he's trying out there. The velocity came easy. He was blowing guys away. Even if he'd miss location, it was hard for players to catch up to his fastball just because it was that hard. But on top of that, the splitter, I think, was unbelievable. It looked exactly like his fastball coming out of his hand, and then it would just completely dive off the strike zone. Had to be miserable if you're a hitter trying to hit that pitch. And a lot of people have said about Ohtani that if he only had a fastball and a splitter, he would probably be an ace right there. But then you throw in the slider, you throw in the changeup. He threw a few 68-mile-an-hour curveballs that he flipped in for strikes at times. This is a guy who I think has the potential to have a 20 strikeout game, to maybe complete that perfect game at some point in his career. He has that kind of stuff, and it was an honor to be able to watch his first home start. Angel Stadium was like I'd never seen it before. It was packed. I think it was sold out. I believe they had more fans there than they had on opening day just because of Ohtani. So it was quite the spectacle for sure.
Yeah, and you mentioned his splitter. Obviously, his splitter. I mean, I was watching it on TV, and it just absolutely dives off the table, and it's a plus pitch for sure. But I looked at it as 99, like you said, 99 miles an hour fastball with ease. I've never seen that. You know what I mean? I think I read an article that he was 18 years old in high school and had a 99 mile per hour fastball. I mean, you just don't see that from a high school pitcher.
No, you don't.
Yeah, and I'm looking at his stats from high school and obviously in Japan, and this is a guy who at 19 years old wanted to come play in the major leagues. Didn't work out a contract. He's looking at by the Rangers and the Dodgers. Didn't work out a contract. Ended up signing in the Japan League, but. I mean, do you really think he could keep up the pace he's at? Do you think he can be a hitter on every other day, on every 5th day, he was a starter and throw 7 innings? Do you think he'll be able to keep that for 162 games?
I mean, will he hit a home run every game? Probably not. That's going to die off eventually. I think the Angels have a pretty good plan with him. They're running a 6-man rotation, or at least that's how they started. Mm-hmm. I think that was mainly because Ohtani back in Japan pitched once a week. I think they're on a lighter schedule than Major League Baseball teams are. But I think they've done a good job making sure that he's fresh, hitting him, I think it's around 3 days a week, something like that, and then pitching him one day. I don't think it's too much for him. He seems to be able to handle it, at least so far. Of course, we're only a couple weeks into the season. But I think Ohtani, the pitcher, is going to prove to be more lasting than Ohtani, the hitter. I still believe in Ohtani, the hitter. He's only 23 years old. I think eventually he will be an incredible hitter in this league. But I think he will go through his times this year when he struggles offensively. I think in Japan in his last season he hit around 285, something like that. And a lot of people think of Japan as like the AAA equivalent to Major League Baseball to American baseball. So if you're hitting 285, in AAA, chances are you're not gonna, homer every game and hit 350 in the majors or anything like that. But I do think Ohtani is the real deal in terms of, especially as a pitcher, and I think he's going to contribute offensively as well. And it's going to be a lot of fun for all of us to watch because nobody's done this since Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
Like literally, Babe Ruth is the last guy who was able to do this. And so just for that reason, Ohtani is must-see TV.
Yeah, and I know I was talking to Toph the other day, and I know you and Toph actually went to the game on Sunday, and he was telling me that you were tracking the speed off the bat from Oakland A's hitters on Sunday afternoon. And he was saying that the average speed is about 89 miles an hour, which, if you know the Major League average, that's pretty freaking good. If you look at that, 89 miles an hour, it's pretty good. That means you're getting a lot of hitters off balance. So, from a pitcher standpoint, I think he's going to have a long career and has a lot of longevity there. As a hitter, I see him kind of like a Cody Bellinger, which if you're able to do that, that's it. Because I see Cody Bellinger as a 260, 270 hitter who might strike out a lot, but it'll get you maybe 25 to 30 home runs a year. And if you're Shohei Ohtani, and if you can pitch every fifth day and you can go 7 innings, give up 2 runs, but you can also hit 25 home runs in a season, that's a pretty impressive resume, if you ask me. And I think I just can't wait to see. Like you said, he's 23 years old, and I can't wait to see what his ceiling is, because I don't think we don't have a true standard of what his ceiling is yet. So if he's able to keep this up for 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 years, I mean, you start getting the discussion of, you look at Mike Trout, who's been kind of considered the best player in baseball. I think if Ohtani's able to keep this up, I think you have to undoubtedly make him the best player in baseball, because no one's ever done this since Babe Ruth. I mean, that's just my opinion on it. I mean, what is your take on that?
It's going to be really hard to dethrone Mike Trout as the best player in baseball. But I agree. If ever there were a player who maybe had that shot, I think Ohtani might be a guy you would mention, just because he contributes in both facets of the game. Mike Trout can't pitch.
Yeah.
Mike Trout can do a lot of things, but he can't pitch. And Ohtani can do that, and he does it very well. So I think it's going to take some time before we get there. We're about 2 weeks into Shohei Ohtani's career. To call him the best player on the planet is maybe a little far away. But he has that kind of potential, and we saw this when he played in Japan. People were raving about him. He was this phenom. He was unbelievable, and he's showing he can do it here in the States as well. And it's very exciting, not only for the Angels, but for baseball at large. This guy, I think, is going to bring a lot more fans to the game.
100%. Like you said, time will tell. We're going to take a quick music break. When we come back, we're going to jump into a team that Jesse's pretty familiar with, the Arizona Diamondbacks, and where they kind of stand in the National League and also in baseball. We'll take a quick music break. We'll be back here.